Okay, my name's Kurt Wolfslegel. I'm from Newark, Ohio, which is about midway between Columbus and Zanesville, Ohio, right in the middle of Ohio.
Okay. If you would, tell me about your first experience. Put me in your shoes and try to describe it and everything, like everything in full detail, like what you were doing, your feelings, your thoughts, the time of year, anything you can think of.
I didn't realize till just recently that my first experience was back in about 2000. Me and a buddy was sitting outside in this house I was building, sitting out on the patio. It's probably 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and it sounded like his bull just come running down through the woods, snapping, breaking trees, snapping limbs. I mean, huffing and puffing, and I had no idea what we were facing. So,
why did the creature charge through the woods?
We don't know. We was just sitting out there smoking cigars, sitting on the patio. And it was kind of in a ravine. So he come from the top of the ravine down through the bottom. I don't know, something up there spooked him or what. And he was mad. He came down through there, he was just snapping everything. But I didn't know what it was until just recently, you know, we were sitting there talking, and I was like, oh shoot, I've had that happen.
So you didn't know what it was at first?
No.
Yeah.
No.
And it sounded like a bulldozer, huh?
Oh yeah. He's just huffing and puffing coming down through there. And
what did the vocalization sound like when he was huffing and puffing?
sort of like bull snorting.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay, so like
how a bull snorts. And, yeah. I grabbed my shotgun and I told my buddy, I said, you head to the truck. I said, I'll cover you till you get to the truck, because he was kind of disabled. So we got the truck, man, we got the hell out of there. We didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I've experienced that. I know what it feels like.
Yeah, just recently here, though, I've heard people talking about how he comes crashing through the woods and stuff. And I'm like, oh, wow, that happened. Never even thought about it. I was sitting there watching a Bigfoot show on TV with my wife, and she elbows me. She said, hey, don't you have structures like that up there where you hunt at? And I just kind of looked at her. Yeah, we do. It was the arch trees, and still had the stuff growing straight up out of it. So it's been like that for a while. And I had teepee structures around trees with the root balls up in the air. So you know it wasn't just a tree fall. It was put there on purpose. Yeah. I told her, I said, yeah. So that's really what got me into the Bigfooting. I wanted to find out more about it. So
and why do you think they created these structures? What do you think the purpose is behind it? What are your theories about it?
I think landmarks.
Like territorial markers?
Yeah, territorial landmarks. And if they're traveling or something, maybe they can use it as a trail marker or something like that. It was close to a property line. So, I mean, if they was walking that property line, they could probably use that, because, I mean, you could see it right off the property line.
Yeah. What else happened?
Well, from when I got into it, I seen a group was having a meeting at Salt Fork. So I got a hold of the group, and they said, sure, come on down. So I went down there and started doing investigating down there. And first time I went down, we went out and drove around a while, checked out some different spots. And we got back by the campfire, and we're just sitting there around the campfire. Me, a buddy of mine, and another buddy, he dozed off, and the other guy sitting there and heard what sounded like a barred owl. And my buddy said, that was an owl. I said, that wasn't an owl. He said, yeah, it was. So we're sitting there, and a little bit later, it hooted again. I said, I'm telling you, that's not a barred owl. Yeah, it is. So we're sitting there carrying on conversation. Buddy there, he dozes off, and he was sitting there, and then this scream come through the woods. I looked at him, I said, now, do you think that's a barred owl? He said, no. He said, we know what that was. I said, oh, yeah. Wow. So that's the first time I ever heard a scream or anything like that. And I was like, yeah, I like this.
Pretty wicked scream.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
the activity started off with the owls, and then they intensified the activity, the vocalizations.
Yeah.
Why do you think they were doing that?
Probably just to warn us, stay out of the woods.
Do you think they were communicating back and forth within the clan or to you guys?
I think to the clan, because there's a lot of activity up there. And we got up the next day, and I took a friend of mine. We went up on the hill there to what they called the food plot. We got up there, and we walked back further than the food plot was. And just as we turned this corner, we had a whistle come at us from right there to the left of us. Just turned this corner, and it whistled. Then further on down, another whistle. And then this one would whistle. Just instantaneous, back and forth, back and forth. And I told her, I said, well, let's go down here and see what's down here, where's the other whistles coming from. All right, so we walked down there, and then they quit whistling. So we start heading back to camp. We notice this opening in the brush going into the woods. I'm looking back in through there. I had bad knees at the time, before I had my knee replacements. I'm standing there looking back in there, couldn't see anything. We're just standing there shooting the crap. And we hear a, I was like, looked at each other. You hear that? Yeah. So we're sitting there talking a little bit more, and it got a little bit gruffer. I'm looking back in there. I said, I think we better get out of here. He's getting a little mean now. So we got out of there. That was an experience there.
What do you think the grunt or the huffing meant? It was warning you guys to get out of there.
Yeah, get out of my spot.
How did that make you feel in that moment, though?
I'm not really afraid. You know, I'm not the type to get afraid of anything, really. And I was just like, he must want us to get out of here, you know. So I said, I'm not going to have him come charging at us. I said, so let's just go ahead and head on back down to camp.
Yeah, I think your instincts were dead on there.
Yeah. We go down to camp, and we'd go up there at night, walk around, hear things snapping and cracking. Me and Grizz was down there at the Salt Fork. We met up down there. We pulled up into the campground. We're sitting there. I was in my RV, he was in my car. We're sitting there facing the woods. We had the windows down so we could talk back and forth. And couldn't make it out, but something awful big walked right inside the wood line across, in front of us. There's a look. He said, "Do you see that?" I said, "Yeah, I seen that." I said, "That wasn't no deer." And just inside that wood line, it just drops off like almost straight down to the road. So whatever it was just climbed up that bank and just walked along that ridge top.
Do you think that was Sasquatch or something else?
I think it might have been. Yeah. We couldn't really make it out, but you could tell it was huge.
Really?
And just walked past us, and I was like, oh, well, there's a good spot. Yeah. So we just stayed there for camp. And at night, we seen orbs across the road, flying in the trees, back and forth, changing colors. It'd go from red to blue to white and green and yellow. And people said, oh, it's just fireflies. No, that's not fireflies. Because it was still cold out, It was back in probably end of first part of April. It was still kind of chilly. Too chilly for fireflies.
Yeah, absolutely. So the orbs, they were changing colors, or different color ones would appear?
I think it was just changing colors. It'd go one way, one color, come back, a different color, come back, a different color.
So you had Bigfoot activity that day, and later on you seen orbs.
Right.
Does that make you feel like there's a connection?
It was pouring down rain when this was going on.
Really?
So fireflies aren't out in the pouring down rain. So we sit there. We sat in my camper door because it was raining so hard. We're sitting in the camper door, just looking out the door and watching these things dance back and forth. It was crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Yep.
Is there anything unusual about that place, or maybe like it was a Native American campground, or has there been reports there in the past with Sasquatch? Is that why you guys were there?
Well, there used to be like a village there, from what I can recall. There was a village there before they built the dam and flooded it. So, I mean, yeah, there could be some different activity going on there. That,
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
What else?
A group of us was going back to Hozak's Cave there one night and just following this wee little footpath. And the leader of the group, he got up there and he just stopped dead. He said, "We gotta leave." Red eyes glowing. He said, "We gotta get out of here because this ain't good." And it was close, real close. Really? So we just turned around, just casually walked out. We didn't want to run, you know, have something chase us. You know, if you just walk away, it's more likely they're going to leave you alone.
Now, did you physically see the red eyes, or did he just
I
warn
didn't.
you? Okay.
He did.
How did he describe them? Like, how high up were they? Were they just stationary, or were they moving?
I think they were moving a little bit. That's why what's really got him. Yeah. I've never experienced anything like that. He has. So I take his word for it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. When I hear red eyes, I think demonic. But the more I've done Sasquatch theory and I've interviewed people, it's a common thing that people see in the woods when they encounter cryptid creatures are these red eyes, or people talk about them looking into the windows and they have glowing red eyes. That's terrifying.
Yeah. And I think it was the next camp out, Grizz come up and we set up a tent. My tent was probably 15, 20 feet away from his. And something come up out of the woods and rubbed along his tent. He said you could see the hand impression come in. He's hollering at me. He said, "Knock it off, knock it off." I said, "I don't know what you're talking about. I'm over here in bed." he just let loose. He's all no. And one of the rails for the tent got pushed in and broke. And I had a microphone set up outside my tent. And something was up there sniffing the microphone. And I had it probably about that high up in the air on a tripod. And something come back there just sniffing it, and you... I'm like, wow, I wonder what that was, you know. 'Cause we'd never seen any deer around there or anything. And
that sounds like Bigfoot activity.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Next night we had a trip with we call it the bionic goose. And it just went on and on and on. And it sounded like a cross between a goose and a swan, but it was more mechanical. And this was in the middle of the night, so you know nothing's going to be making that kind of sound in the middle of the night. And this went on for, I bet you, an hour or two. Yeah. Just that constant whack, whack, whack. Yeah, it was crazy. All right, me and a friend of mine went out there this spring. He sat down by the picnic tables, and I walked up on the hill, what they call a food plot. And it was getting kind of dusk, you know. You can make out where you're at and stuff. So I started heading back down, and we had one hell of a scream come through the woods. And I thought it was right inside the woods beside me, because you could feel it go through you. You just feel the reverberation going through you. I was like, holy mackerel. So I just kind of walked on down. I kind of high-stepping it a little bit because I was the only one up there. So I get down there and he looks at me. He said, "Did you hear that?" I said, "Yeah, I heard it." He said, "It was right inside the woods there." I said, "No, this was up there beside me in the woods. So it must have been between me and him, and man, it sounded like it was right beside us. And we caught that on on audio, because Josh was on the phone talking to Icebox. And Icebox said he couldn't hear it. So Josh got home and he downloaded it and played it back to him. He said, I know that's real. He said, 'cause I was on the phone with you when this happened. He said, so there's no saying that, you know, you heard it, but you can't deny it. Because we were sitting there having a conversation when it happened, so yeah.
So you've heard some strange things that you just can't explain, and this inspired you to buy that Tascam audio recorder?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was a smart move, my
I
friend.
used to be a paranormal investigator, so I got night vision and all kinds of stuff like that. And little cat balls, and, triggers. So yeah, I had some recorders and stuff. My first one was a Zoom recorder, but the display went out on it, so I had to go buy this Tascam.
Okay. So would you recommend it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that Tascam's great.
Okay.
You can hear a gnat fart in a hurricane.
Yeah. Well, you came down to Missouri to investigate Sasquatch. What did you experience here at this conservation area? What happened?
This is the most experience I've had down here.
Tell me about
With
it.
all the yells and the coyotes. You know, yeah. Every night we get yells.
Can you walk me through what you captured on the audio recorder, step by step?
Sure. We were sitting up around the fire and we all decided, let's go to bed. It was about 1 o'clock. So we all went to bed, and I leave my recorder run all night. We were laying there, and Grizzly gets up to go outside to take care of some business. And just as he unzipped the tent, we had a yell come from one direction, a yell from the other direction, and then the coyotes let loose. And this went on for probably about 15 minutes. Just back and forth, and coyotes going nuts. Coyotes pretty close to camp. So, I mean, because I got good audio on those.
Yeah, so these creatures vocalized and it triggered the coyotes later on.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
And
I've experienced that.
And just about every night that we've heard them, it triggers the coyotes.
Because we did some Bigfoot calls,
Right.
and the coyotes went off. And
Right.
what we did was clearly not a coyote call. I've even noticed when I do wood knocks, it'll trigger the coyotes or the owls.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with them,
I done
so I think.
a yell the other night. It was me, Mike, Grizzly, and we're all sitting around the fire, and I just walk off to the edge of the woods, and I just let out a big old yell and come back, and Mike's sitting there going, they know we're here. They're not going to respond or anything, you know. He said, they know when we're here, they know when we're not. And when he's sitting there talking about that, we got a response. We had another yell come back. Yeah. And
So they definitely responded to your call.
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And Mike said, well, I just stuck my foot in my mouth, didn't I?
I get that a
Yeah.
lot. People say it's never going to work if you would knock or call to them, but I've had success in the past with doing Bigfoot calls and wood knocks. It doesn't always work. I would say at least 1 out of 30 times it works.
Yeah.
That's a lot of times to try something like that, but all it takes is one time.
And last night I done a yell, and coyotes started barking a little bit. So, or no, not the coyotes, the owls. The owls started hooting.
Yeah, and the call you did was not an owl call, but yet they responded.
Yeah.
So that really got me thinking. These things will mimic other animals, other wildlife, and
It will mimic us.
they'll mimic
we were
humans,
sitting there
owls,
with
coyotes.
a friend there night before last. He's sitting there in a chair, and he'd done one of the barred owl calls, and they'd respond back. He'd sit there for a while, he'd do another barred owl call, and they'd respond back. It was getting kind of iffy in between. And then he'd done a barred owl call but didn't finish the call. They mimicked exactly what he did. And then we heard nothing the rest of the night.
Yeah. On that,
He went, hoo, hoo, hoo. And it come back, hoo, hoo, hoo. It didn't finish that last.
okay. So it was copying.
Oh, yeah.
him,
It was
no
mimicking.
doubt. Yeah. And on that recorder, I heard like grunts, like, mm.
Yeah.
Was that you guys or was that part
No.
of the recording? Really?
Yeah, that was part of the recording.
Wow. Okay. That's cool. And yeah, those vocalizations, they sounded wicked. That did not sound like a coyote.
No.
I mean, if it was, it'd have to be one big alpha male coyote, but I don't think it was. It sounded very primate, like things I've seen on the internet in the past that people have recorded. I mean, that was pretty cool. And Mike called me. He said, Miguel, I had one of the most active nights of my life. And he was there when the Sasquatch showed up. We were camping in the Mark Twain National Forest, and they were wood knocking, slamming trees, breaking limbs. And when he said more active than that night, I was excited to get here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been crazy down here. Yeah. I'll come back here anytime.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Well, it must be a good spot.
I've never experienced so much activity either.
Yeah, I've been hearing people
crazy.
Throughout the years talk about this same exact area, like, Miguel, you got to get out here, you got to get out here. And people are contacting me all the time. I went out there and I experienced this, this, and this. Yeah. Okay, I got to make it out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty cool area. But it makes sense because it aligns with other areas where people have had Bigfoot encounters. I mean, you have a lot of wildlife, a waterway, springs, caves, things like that. And yeah, this seems to be like every other area that I've had experiences at.
Yeah. You got a lot of these dry creek beds. They'll follow those a lot.
Oh, yeah. And we're only like a mile away from the Mississippi River, the Shawnee National Forest, and there's been so many reports there.
Yeah, the dry creek beds are nice and clear. They can walk through there without making a noise.
Did you see that photo they shared of the Sasquatch statue in Murfreesboro, Illinois?
No.
Oh man, it's a cool statue. Apparently people have seen them there, and they put a huge statue up in the city or in the town. Pretty cool.
Oh, Mary, her son and myself walked down the road the other night, and we had a wild time there.
Tell me about it.
We was walking down the road, and all of a sudden we just got bombarded with moths. It looked like we were standing in a snowstorm. We was like, what in the world is going on? We got it all on video. And so we said, okay, let's head back to camp. We started heading back to camp, and Mary's taking video. We caught Sasquatch standing right off the side of the road. I was about 3 to 4 feet away from it and didn't even know it was standing there. And we got a real good picture.
It's amazing.
And we come walking back up through, and I decided I'm gonna cut over into the woods for a little bit and check it out up in the woods. I get up in the woods, looking around there, come back down out of the woods, and my flashlight just shut right off. And it was fully charged. It's rechargeable. It just shut off, wouldn't turn back on.
Her phone was doing the same thing?
Her phone was taking pictures by itself as we're walking. It just snapped pictures randomly. Yeah, crazy experience there.
Yeah, and the moths, that seems supernatural to me, like some type of sign. I've never seen so many moths. It looked like it was snowing. Yeah. Moths, like, it was strange. Moth storm.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Do you think that was just natural, or do you think that had something to do with the activity that you experienced?
It might have had something to do with the activity. You know, it's kind of like, hey, you know, leave us alone. You know, you get in something like that, you're trying to get them away from you, you know. So it might have been just done that to, hey, leave us alone. And that's when we turned around and started heading back, and she's just using her camera real slow, and that's where she caught the juvenile. It looks like the mom standing behind it. And the juvenile looked to be about my size.
Yeah. Was that the same?
It was like 4 feet off the road, standing in a ditch.
Was that the same night you guys heard the vocalizations and you recorded all that? Or was that the night before?
That was the night after.
Night after?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they were definitely around.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Did you guys hear any limbs breaking or anything in the distance?
No.
Okay.
The other night I was laying there on my cot because I just set my cot up outside, right along the wood line. And I've got recording where you can hear something walking through the woods, cracking and snapping. No big snaps, just like something walking through there. So I can't verify if that was a Bigfoot or what. But there was definitely something moving around in the woods right there beside me. So
Pretty cool area.
Yeah. Like I said, I've only been doing this for a couple of years now, so it's learning and experience.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And what do you think the Sasquatch are? Where do you think they came from?
I think they're a primate, but they don't want to be bothered. They'll show themselves as they want to, but you don't see them because they don't want to be bothered. And especially if you're walking around with a gun or something, The only reason I carry a gun is I would run into something other than a Bigfoot. I'd never shoot at a Bigfoot. I might wave at it or something, try and communicate with it. And I had my gun on me when this little one was standing beside me, which was unheard of.
Yeah.
Especially with the mom standing there with the little one. I was so close, If I could have seen it, because it was dark, if I could have seen it, I could have reached out and almost touched it.
That's pretty cool. And what kind of tactics did you try out here? I saw the rubber chicken, the peanut butter. There's like these little balls that light up, kind of like a police siren or police lights.
Mary set up those little cat balls that cats bat around and they'll light up.
Yeah, and what was the idea with the pineapple? Can you tell me about that?
I went to Destin, Florida this summer, and coming back, we stopped at a Cracker Barrel, and they had a pineapple that lights up, and the glitter spins around inside it. And on my way down here, I got in an accident and snapped the top of it off. And I thought, well, I'm just going to take it down here in the woods, set it on a post, and turn it on. They might see that glittering and might come over to check it out, see what's going on. So I left that down here all night for 2 nights. And I had a rubber chicken that squawks. Now, I pranked Grizzly with it a couple of years ago, stuck it underneath his mattress in his tent, put it underneath his tent. He went in to go to bed and he heard that chicken squawk. He like, what was that? I said, I don't know. He'd move around a little bit and it'd do it again. So he's, damn it, Kurtis. I said, I'm over here in my tent. So the next day he got up and he ripped the whole inside of that tent out, trying to find that chicken. It was underneath the tent from the outside. And he's in there flipping his air mattresses and stuff, trying to find this thing. There was nothing there.
Yeah. We thought we heard the chicken squawk last night.
So I took that chicken when we come out here and I smeared it with some peanut butter and stuck it up as high as I could reach up into a tree and just left it there. We were sitting around. The other night we heard a squawk and I thought maybe that's what it was. I come down and check, nothing. Then last night we was all sitting around there and you heard it too. He said, was that chicken that squawked? I said, yeah, it sounded like it. But there's been some of the peanut butter cleaned off of it because I had it smeared on there, but now you can just see where the outline of the thickest part was. So something might have been up there messing with it. But we definitely heard it squawking.
I like the pineapple idea because I watched you put it in there during the day, and that whole night, it got me like 5 or 6 times. I'm like, what is that? It lit up like an orb.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like an orb sitting down there.
Yeah, it just captures your attention.
I tried different things,
It's good to mix it up.
Never know what you can do to get them to come in.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Give it a try.
Yeah, experimenting.
Yep.